In this program, I share with you a billionaire's rare advice on how to quickly become a millionaire, shed debt, invest properly, and take control of your finances. In preparing for this show, the production team sought to uncover the wealth building secrets of some of America's richest families, some of whom you have never heard about and will probably never hear about. Over several months and after several attempts, we were able to meet and interview one billionaire, five multimillionaires, and 12 millionaires. All requested anonymity but allowed us to share their money making and wealth preservation insights, tips, and tricks with our viewers and listeners. This show is an edited and summarized version of our exchanges with this extremely wealthy yet unbelievably down to earth 18 Americans. What they had to say about wealth building and preservation will absolutely blow your mind. Stay tuned. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. Are you doing marvelous too? Are you ready to talk about money, millionaires, billionaires? If you are doing marvelous, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today, I want to talk about how to make money. And this is more a tutorial on how to become a millionaire, shed debt, invest properly, and take control of your finances. And we have gathered this show after the many exchanges and interviews we had with one billionaire, five multimillionaires, and 12 millionaires. Before we get into the nitty gritty here, let's first give a shout out to our fans and listeners and viewers over North America, in Europe, and throughout the world. We are giving a shout out to Thomas Butler in Bolivar, Mississippi. We love you, Thomas. Danny Moss in Crandall, Mississippi, and Sarah Morgan in Bailey, Mississippi. Thomas Butler, Danny Moss, and Sarah Morgan, we love you and your respective families. Thank you so much. Now, how to get a millionaire mindset. It's very important how to get a millionaire mindset. Now, if you want to become a millionaire, it is very important to acquire the mentality of a millionaire, right? You can't try to play in the NBA if you don't have the mentality of a basketball player, of a pro basketball player, right? So the first thing you have to do, according to the billionaires and multimillionaires we spoke to, love what you do. Love what you do. Try to find interest. Trying to find interest in everything you do. It could be a little thing, whatever it is. Love what you do. If you, for instance, if you're working on a craft, right? You have a craft and you really dedicate 80% of your time to it. Put as much passion into that craft, because the idea here is to spend as much time on something you love so that you can develop talent, you can develop discipline, you can have a routine that allows you to always improve every time. Don't look for perfection. Doesn't matter. Don't look for perfection. If you want to spend 30 minutes on activity on a daily basis, do it, but do it consistently. Consistency is the key word here. So love what you do. Number 2, have a clear vision. You need to understand exactly what you are trying to get. Have a clear vision. It could be time bound. It could be, over 1 year, over 30 days, over 30 months, over 2 quarters. Doesn't really matter, but to have a clear vision, it has to be extra clear in your mind. A lot of the multimillionaires that we spoke to really reiterated the fact that having a clear vision was, say, 70% of it accounted for 70% of their success. So a clear vision accounted for 70% of their success. So it is very important as you are trying to be a millionaire, trying to be wealthy, trying to acquire the material and mental materials, mental comfort, and be able to have vacation in Punta Cana or Bali or those sort of nice destinations. You need to have a clear vision. So if you are working, for instance, in an industry, you are a professional, you are employed by a company, right? and you are trying to get to the millionaire mindset, you need to know exactly within 5 years or 10 years or 2 years or 3 years, it doesn't matter. The length of time doesn't matter. But what matters here is to have clarity of vision, because clarity of vision triggers other stuff in your system that will make you ultimately become a millionaire. And I will talk about those other processes that are triggered by clarity of vision. Number 3, constantly polish your skills. This is something that has been said time and again by all the millionaires and multimillionaires we spoke to, as well as by the billionaire we spoke to. You want to constantly polish your skills. Whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter. Whatever field you're in, try to constantly polish your skills. Polishing skills could take several ways, right? It could mean taking an online class, for instance. It could be going to a workshop. It could mean, surrounding yourself with the best of the best. It could mean hanging out with friends and family, friends and relatives who are better than you. It could mean having a coach, a mentor. Whatever it is, you need to constantly polish your skills. The thing is that if you're not making progress, you are losing competitive maturity. You are losing competitive reputation. You are losing market share. I call it market share. Actually, market share is a term that the billionaire has used. A market share is what he called an individual ability to be reputable in the industry, an individual ability to be marketable, right? So everybody has a market value. I know sometimes people have problems when you think of a human life in economic terms, but it has nothing to do with money. It just means that if a person has a sort of marketable value, it means the person can be valuable to society. That's all it means. So by constantly polishing your skills, you are able to be valuable to society. It could be valuable monetarily. It could be valuable socially. It could be valuable psychologically. It could be valuable personally. It could be valuable in a relationship. So constantly polish your skills. Never fall behind. Number 4, if you want to become a millionaire, and if you want to acquire a millionaire mindset, according to a billionaire we've spoken to, you want to offer solutions, not products, not problems, not services. You want to offer solution. So if you are in business, if you are an entrepreneur and you're trying to go to the next level and become a multimillionaire or even a billionaire, because you know what, the sky's the limit, right? You want to position yourself as a solution provider, not as a product or services provider. No, you have to provide solutions. The same applies for other situations in your life. So if you want to be likable, you want to be admired, you want to be looked upon as somebody valuable in your community, try to position yourself as a solution provider, right? So you're the man or you're the woman that everybody goes to when they need a solution, not when they need to buy a product or service, or when they have a problem. No, you provide solutions. That's very important. And the number 5 here, the number 5 tip that we got from the billionaire and the multimillionaires we spoke to in trying to have a millionaire mindset is be more a doer, not a thinker or talker, right? In this world, you have a lot of thinkers. You have a lot of, what I call life intellectuals. People spend all their lives just thinking, right? Psychologists call it analysis paralysis. I just call it intellectual laziness, right? Basically, you have a lot of people who will just talk their mouth out, right? Tell you how the world should be, how things should be, why things are not, why things are not the way they are. They're just what I call again apathetic activists. So they are activists. They want things to change, but they are just mired in apathy. Now, you don't want to be that. You want to be a doer. So, forget about talking and thinking. Of course, you have to think before acting, right? But be more of an actor, of a doer, somebody who does things, who makes things happen. By doing that, you are one step closer to becoming a millionaire. You are one step closer to acquiring a millionaire mindset. We will be right back right after this. Welcome back, folks, to another section, the second section of this wonderful show. I'm very happy to have you around. I hope you are still around, and I hope you are enjoying this show so far. Now, for those who just joined us, I am giving you, I'm not a billionaire, but I'm just reporting to you the edited and summarized version of an interview we had with a billionaire. And, we are sharing with our, with our viewers and listeners and fans over the world some of the tips and tricks that we learned from this billionaire who requested to remain anonymous, yet was very generous to allow us to share his tips and tricks here. Now, goal number 6, to have a millionaire mindset, define a goal and never lose sight of the goal. So you have to define a goal. If your goal is to become a millionaire, you need to define the goal. And now marketing specialists call it SMART, right? The goal has to be SMART. So specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So you want to have a goal. So for instance, I want to grow my company by 25% within 12 months. This is a SMART goal. It is specific, it is measurable, it is attainable based on your company situation. It is realistic based on the growth rate in the industry and the investment and the resources you're trying to pour into the business. And it is timely, right? We have a time period of 12 months. So you want to define a goal and you want to never lose sight of the goal. This is a critical step in becoming wealthy, in becoming a millionaire. You need to constantly, aggressively, ruthlessly focus on your goal. And this is what's going to make the difference in the end between those who are making it constantly and those who attempt to make it. Number 7, establish a good relationship with money. Now, in some societies, in some cultures, or in some families, people have a deleterious relationship with money. People have a negative relationship with money. How can you expect to attract something that you deep inside, hate? How can you attract money if you hate it at the same time? There's no evil in money. It's the use and abuse of money that creates evil, right? Money is just like anything else, right? You have a lot of things in this world. There are bad, per se, but it's how you use them. If I buy a knife, right, and I misuse it and I get hurt, or I hurt someone, the knife in itself is not bad. It's the use and abuse and misuse of the knife that creates the problem, right? So it's the same thing with money. You need to establish a good relationship with money. And all the millionaires, all the wealthy folks, all the 18 wealthy Americans we spoke to during in the last 6 months while preparing for this show have said to us time and again, you need to establish a great relationship, an excellent relationship with money. To be able to attract money, money has to feel loved by you. Money has to feel appreciated by you. Money has to feel that it is in good care with you. So establish a good relationship with money. Number 8, define what's more important in life. You need to have clarity, right? This sort of goes back to what I said earlier with having clarity of vision, having a clear vision. You need to define what is more important in life, right? So if money, of course, money is not the only thing that should be important, but money should be among the top list of things that are important for you, right? So you want to define what's important, what's more important in life, and write those things down. It's always important to write things down. Get into the habit of writing things down, because there is some psychological and physical processes that get triggered when you write things down. I'm not going to get too much into psychoanalysis here, but there are metabolic changes in the body. There are changes in your mind. There are changes in the brain that happen when you start writing things down. So define what's more important in life and write it down. Number 9, give more value than you take. This is very important. If you notice, all the billionaires and all the multimillionaires of this era, they happen to do things that allow them to give more value than they take. In other words, the salary, the income they are making is way lower than the value, than the wealth they are creating. Take for instance, a billionaire like Jeff Bezos, the CEO and founder of Amazon. Of course, he's the richest as of the date of this show. He's the richest person in the world, right? But think about the value that Amazon has added to the lives of billions of people around the world over the last 20 years. This is amazing. So does he deserve to be where he is at? Yes, of course. Because it takes vision, it takes commitment, it takes sacrifice to get to a level where you are able to provide services, sometimes even providing services and shipping products and products to people in isolated areas. For instance, using drones, using new technology, using AI, using IoT to serve customers in the four corners of the world. This takes vision. Of course, he's not alone in doing that. He has a whole team. Actually, he has tens of thousands of people who are helping him. But the bottom line is that he had to start somewhere. And that idea of Amazon, to take that particular example, had to start somewhere, right? So, of course, if you are positioning yourself to give more value than you take, you are paving the way. You are laying the foundation of a very successful life. Number 10, don't be afraid of taking risk. Now, all the millionaires and the multimillionaires that we have spoken to have said that again. They have confirmed that. Don't be afraid of taking risks. There's nothing bad with taking risks. Now, of course, I'm not asking you to take a foolish risk here, right? But what is important here is to take a calculated risk. But you got to take a risk. If you can't earn something valuable, you can't stay in your comfort zone and attempt to become a millionaire. You gotta get out there and do things right. So don't be afraid of taking risk. Taking risk is a good thing. If you fail, what's the worst that could happen here? If you fail, you have a lesson. You earn a lesson, right? And you can use that lesson in other ventures, right? So if you think about all the entrepreneurs and all the multimillionaires and all the biggies of this world, they've taken risks. Some are even serial entrepreneurs. They've done a lot of things in their life. They've tried things. They've failed, and they came again. Going back to the example that I just took about Amazon, things weren't always rosy, right? Today, Amazon is commanding a larger share of the market globally, whatever market you want to call it, because they are everywhere. But things weren't always easy at the beginning. So don't be afraid of taking risks. I'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, folks, to Sweetie Kiwi. We are still here talking about money. We are still trying to find the best way to become millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires. And today I am very happy because I love talking about this sort of wealth preservation and wealth building content. And if you love the content of this show so far and you think it's adding value to your life, please consider subscribing to our channel. We drop beautiful gems of content every day, 2, 3, 4 times a day, depending on our resources and our inspiration. And turn on the notification bell so you are notified whenever we drop new content. And please like this content so we can love you back. Share the content to if you believe the content might be relevant to someone who's maybe right now struggling to become rich or trying to take control of their finances. Comment below. Give us your experience about money. Give us your experience about how to become a millionaire or multimillionaire or even a billionaire. If you are one, we'd love to know. And we want to give a shout out to our millions of viewers in America, Canada, and the rest of the world. Particularly, we want to give a shout out to Declan Wood in Worland, Missouri. Frankie Perry in Villa Ridge, Missouri, and Alicia Porter in Tenneville, Missouri. Thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for your support and encouragement. We appreciate that. We are sending lots of love back. In this program, I share with you a billionaire's rare advice on how to quickly become a millionaire, shed debt, invest properly, and take control of your finances. Now, we just talked about how to become a millionaire. We're still talking about that, right? In preparing for this show, the production team sought to uncover the wealth building secrets of some of America's richest families, some of whom I'm sure you have never heard about and will probably never hear about. Over several months and after several attempts, we were able to meet and interview 1 billionaire, 5 multimillionaires, and 12 millionaires. All requested anonymity, but they allowed us to share the money-making and wealth preservation insights, tips, and tricks with our viewers and listeners. This show is an edited and summarized version of our exchanges with this extremely wealthy, yet unbelievably down-to-earth 18 Americans. What they had to say about wealth building and preservation will also absolutely blow your mind. Let's follow on here. Now, how to create or join a millionaires club. Remember, again, to become a millionaire, first you need to get a millionaire mindset. That was what I talked about. Now, I want to talk to you more about how to create or join a millionaires club. Now, you need to have a will. There's something called you need to have the will. WILL. Have the will. Define your own goals. Now, will stands for wealth, investment, life, and love. Let me repeat that. You need to define your goal and have a will. WILL. Wealth, investment, life, and love. This is very important, folks. If you want to join a millionaires club or create one, you need to first define what for you personally wealth, investments, life, and love means, right? Because if you are trying to hang around other people, you want to make sure that you know your own values so you can choose the right club. Now, a millionaires club is something that most people don't know about, but there exist thousands of millionaires club in the world. It's just a regular club where people meet to exchange ideas about wealth, about asset management, about investments, about love, life, politics, you name it, right? The same way you have clubs of you have sports club, you also have millionaires clubs, you have investment clubs. So it is very important as you are trying to chart your path towards richness, towards wealth, to surround yourself with people who are like-minded, with people who are thinking about, wealth or money in a very positive way, so that you can all spread or their inspiration, their intellect, their vibration, their money vibrations can permeate your own vibrations or can permeate your own thoughts. So it is very important to have the will. Number 2, find similarly situated people. That's what I was talking about. You want to make sure that you hang out with the right people. Now, I want to specify something here. I use the word, and not me, but the billionaire and the multimillionaires we spoke to used the word similarly situated people. For them, it was very important, and they mentioned that several times, that hanging out with the right people is very important. But you want to find similarly situated people. What does that mean? It means that you want to make sure that you hang out with people whose social network matches yours. You want to hang around those charitable, those philanthropic initiatives that matter to you. You want to participate in fundraising campaigns that align with your personal goals. You want to integrate, you want to enroll in professional bodies that again align with your own goal, right? So that's very important. The third thing you want to do here is you want to avoid members in the same niche as you. Avoid members in the same niche as you. For instance, let's say you are an entrepreneur, right? And you are maybe, let's say you are trying to become a millionaire and you are you are an online entrepreneur. Now, you need to have a certain limit of how long and how much you socialize. Now, with other online entrepreneurs, because at some point you need to differentiate yourself. So if you hang around too much with the same crew of online entrepreneurs, what will happen is that you will lack creativity. You will not get out of your comfort zone. You will not be exposed to other ideas. You will not be exposed to other philosophies, other ways of life, other ways of creating wealth, other ways of creating money. And what will happen is that because you are in a bubble, this might take you longer to clinch wealth, to clinch the $1 million bar, right? Because that's the goal. If you're trying to be a millionaire, to acquire a millionaire mindset, you need to sometimes diversify whom you speak to. You need to diversify whom you hang out with. This is very important. Number 4, you want to create a motivation loop. This is very important. Now, I love that word because I love the word motivation and I love the word loop. Now, what is a motivation loop? A motivation loop is basically a circle of friends or relatives or colleagues whereby every member challenges each other, but in a good way. So, for instance, let's say you are trying to, let's just use a very simple example here. Let's say you want to lose weight. Now, weight loss has nothing to do with this money program, this financially oriented program, but I just want to give a very basic example. Let's say you are part of a weight loss group, a weight loss motivation loop, right? And everybody says, you know what? Okay, this week I'm going to lose 1 pound. So the one member is able to, reach that goal. So another member the following week says, listen, I'm going to lose 1.1 pound or 1.2 pound. And she does it. And then the next week, the following week, another member can say, you know what? I want to lose 1.5 pound. And he does it. So you kind of have this sort of, playfulness, this sort of gamification, which is another term for in online entrepreneurship. But I like that word because you sort of gamify, you make this, playful, and everybody's trying to motivate each other. So you can apply a similar approach here, an approach that is analogous to the weight loss example, where you apply it in the money realm. So by using a motivation loop in the monetary realm, you are able to challenge, each member of the motivation loop and gain money and gain wealth and or getting close to being a billionaire or a millionaire first. Number 5. The Millionaires Club that I'm talking about, how to create or join a Millionaires Club, you don't need to have anything formalized. You don't need to file, to incorporate the Millionaires Club, unless you want to. So basically, you don't need to have an LLC, like a limited liability company, LLP, a partnership, kind of have any kind of legal paperwork around. The Millionaires Club can remain something informal. It can remain something casual, right? The shape or the form or the structure of the club matters less than how often you interact, how often you meet, and the depth and breadth of the interactions, the depth and breadth of the intellectual exchanges, the ideas. That's what really matters. Not, something like, oh, we are a C Corp or we are an S corporation and we are very so sophisticated. Well, that's not really the best way of doing things. Again, I'm just telling you what those 18 billionaire, millionaires, and multimillionaires have told us in the production of this show. So this is it for the first part of how to create or join a Millionaires Club. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to Sweaty Kiwi, the world's largest infotainment show. We're still around talking about money, talking about wealth preservation, wealth building, that's kind of good stuff, right? We're trying to bring some ka-ching in your life. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. All right. I was talking about, again, I'm continuing the series on how to create or join a millionaires club. And I gave you 5 reasons in the first section. Now let's talk about number 6. Number 6 is very important. For the millionaires club, you want to define an agenda. You want to have a clear agenda. So the thing is, anything you want to do in life, you need to write it down. I said it before. You want to define an agenda, of course, making sure all members of the club are comfortable with the agenda. You need to define meeting frequency. How often should you hold meetings? This is very important, folks. The idea is not just to have something, the idea is not to be comfortable with the idea of a millionaires club, right? To say, oh, I'm part of a millionaires club. No, the idea is to go one step further and make things very, very formal. Of course, the structure of the club can be informal, but the day-to-day running of the club has to be formal. It has to have a purpose. It has to have a vision. So define meeting frequency. Clarify location. Clarify the attendance quotas for decisions to be made. This kind of good stuff will help you a lot in the long run. Number 7, you want to have a SMART goals for 1 year. So the thing is, of course, I said earlier that you need to have a SMART goal personally. Now, the idea is to push it a little further and have SMART goals for 1 year. So you want to have SMART goals for the whole club and for all members of the club, right? So again, SMART, for those who just joined the show, we are talking about specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound goals that have a specific timeline. This is very important. Now, one thing you also want to do is in terms of meeting frequency, at least all the wealthy individuals we interviewed for this show told us that you need to meet at least once a month. At least. In other words, you want to have as much interaction with members of the millionaires club to be able to become a millionaire yourself. Again, the club is called Millionaires Club, but it doesn't mean that all members are a millionaire, right? They're not millionaires. They just aspire to be millionaires. So, the whole saying that, fake it until you make it, right? So you are putting yourself in the right mental state, in the right mindset that, listen, I'm going to make it. And you start thinking as a millionaire. You acquire a millionaire mindset. I spoke earlier about the millionaire mindset, right? So you want to meet at least once a month. And the best I've seen is people meeting every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, it could be a very quick conversation. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could be 1 hour around coffee or tea or a nice beer or vodka, right? The bottom line is you can make it as informal as possible. It doesn't need to be in an office. It could be at one of the members' home, or it could be, at a good restaurant. Again, make it casual, make it informal, but make it serious. The conversation, the intellectual exchanges, the philosophical exchanges must be strong, must be sturdy, must be solid, must be sound, right? You want to get out of that meeting feeling enraged, feeling, intellectually wealthy, and this is what you want. Now, number 8, read a millionaire book or attend a wealth seminar at least twice a year. This is a biggie, folks. This is really a biggie. If you are trying to be a millionaire, you need to constantly model yourself after those who are already millionaires or billionaires or multimillionaires. And the best way to do that is to read a book written by a millionaire. Now, a lot of people like to stick to books that have become bestsellers, but you don't have to. Simply because a book hasn't reached bestseller status doesn't mean the content is crappy, right? No. There is a whole science behind creating a bestseller. Of course, the content quality plays a big role, but there are other stuff that I can't get in here because I don't have time. But the idea here is that, simply because a book hasn't made it to the top of the New York Times bestseller list doesn't mean it doesn't mean that book has crappy content. So read a millionaire's book once a month. What did I just say? The once a month? No, not once a month. It's too much, right? People need to have a work-life balance. Read a millionaire's book at least twice a year. So every 6 months, try to read a millionaire's book. Alternatively, you can attend a wealth seminar. So the idea here is to surround yourself with a good bubble. The bubble being the money bubble, right? What I call the money bubble. The money bubble, right? So you want to have that around you. Think about it. If you constantly just wake up and chill and relax and just think and go to work and have this sort of money thoughts around you, chances are you are likely to clinch millionaire status quicker than if you just sitting around and just hoping that things will happen, because things don't happen this way, right? They don't. So read a millionaire book, attend a wealth seminar at least twice a year. Number 9, track progress. You want to track your progress. This is very important. You want to track your progress. So, if you remember what I said earlier, I said you want to write things down, right? You want to write things down. I'm not talking about using apps or Excel spreadsheet or software. No. I'm talking about taking a pen and a piece of paper. Do it the old way, the old fashioned. Do it old school. Write things down and sign it. You want to sign things. You want to write things down. So once you sign it, you can track progress and know whether or not you're falling behind or you're just kicking butt. This is very important. And while you track progress, if you exceed your expectations, if you meet or exceed your own expectations, reward yourself. Grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka or whatever, drink something, get a box of chocolate, whatever it is, reward yourself. I'm not talking about, breaking the bank here, but little things go a long way. I see a lot of people who make tons of money, but they don't have time to enjoy it, right? You got to enjoy the fruit of your labor. And these folks, all the billionaires, all the multimillionaires, the billionaire, and the millionaires that we have spoken to told us time and again, you need to reward yourself. Mentor other people. If you have a millionaires club, or if you join one, mentor other people. Now, everybody has some value to add, right? Everybody knows something. Everybody is smart in their own way. So you can mentor other people. Somebody might benefit from your knowledge. Somebody might benefit from your intellect. Motivate people. Mentor them, right? So you can mentor them through, you can coach them, and you can motivate them. You can also teach them stuff. And again, you could do so in the Millionaires Club, right? So the idea here is that the more you give, the more you receive. This is not just a karmic truth. It's not just a karma truth, but it's also a good thing. It's a good moral truth. It's a good life effort to try to help people, to trying to lend a helping hand to somebody who is in need. It's a good thing. It makes you feel good. It makes one feel good. So mentor other people through motivation, through learning processes, and through sharing of knowledge. All right. So these are the 10 elements that are related to how to create a millionaires club or how to join one. I'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, folks, to Sweetie Kiwi, the world's largest infotainment show. If you just joined this program, I am sharing with you, with the listeners and viewers and fans, a billionaire's rare advice on how to quickly become a millionaire, shed debt, invest properly, and take control of your finances. In preparing for this show, the production team sought to uncover the wealth-building secrets of some of America's richest families, some of whom you have never heard about and will probably never hear about. Over several months and after several attempts, we were able to meet and interview 1 billionaire, 5 multimillionaires, and 12 millionaires. All requested anonymity that allowed us to share their money-making and wealth preservation insights, tips, and tricks with our viewers, listeners, and fans. Now, this show is an edited and summarized version of our exchanges with this extremely wealthy yet unbelievably down-to-earth 18 Americans. What they had to say about wealth building and preservation will absolutely blow your mind. Follow on. Now, if you just joined the show and you heard the breakdown that I have here, please consider, if you like the content, if you like the quality of this kind of content, right? Please consider subscribing to our channel. We really appreciate it. And turn on the notification bell so that you can be in the loop whenever we drop a wonderful piece of content like this one. And we do so once a day or twice a day or 3 times a day, depending on our inspiration and our resources, which is why we also encourage our viewers and listeners to watch our ads, the ads served during the show, because this show is ad supported. And for the production team to continue to have the resources to produce quality and free work, quality and free content, we need the resources. So please watch our ads. Also comment below, give us your experience about wealth, or your experience about taking control of finances. Comment below, share your intellectual wealth with the Sweetie Kiwi community. Also share this content if you think someone somewhere might need it and like it, and we will like you right back. Now, speaking of liking our fans, let me quickly give a fan shout out here. I'm giving a shout out to Ricky Britt in Shonkin, Montana, Mason Frank in Post Creek, beautiful city of Montana, and Autumn Grimes in Klein, Montana. So Ricky Britt, Mason Frank, and Autumn Grimes, we love you, and stay safe, you and your families in Montana. And hopefully you are already millionaire, multi-billionaires. Now let's talk about how to be wealthy quickly. And I think this is something that everybody's interested in, right? In this tutorial, again, it is very important. I'm trying to teach you how to quickly become a millionaire. So, we talked about how to get a millionaire mindset. And I told you how to create a millionaires club or join one. Now I want to talk to you about how to be wealthy quickly. Now, the first thing you need to do if you're trying to be wealthy quickly, according to the billionaire we spoke to and the other 17 millionaires that we spoke to, you need to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. And invest in yourself has three components. Number one, you need to have automatic savings. You got to find a way to automatically save, and the best way to do so is to just create a direct debit, a direct transfer scheme whereby money is taken from your bank account without you initiating it. It has to be done automatically. So every month or every 2 weeks, money leaves your checking account and goes into a savings account, and it has to be automatic. So you can set up direct transfers on the 15th and the 31st, or 15th or the 31st of the month, so the money is automatically saved. By doing that, you just let things roll in the background, right? You don't have to manually do it, because if you have to involve your own volition, your own intention every month, this could be tricky, because we are all humans, right? And we are weak sometimes. So let the machine take care of it. So automatic savings is number one. Number two, training, which is very important. I spoke earlier about polishing your skills constantly. So to be wealthy quickly, you have to acquire the skills that are needed in the field that you operated in. Number three, reward yourself. So investing in yourself means you have to reward yourself. Reward yourself doesn't mean you always have to go on vacation, somewhere in Kenya or somewhere in Brazil or in Indonesia or in Canada or elsewhere, right? Hawaii. Although this could be true too, right? But rewarding yourself means that you are actually patting yourself on the back, sending yourself nice messages of positive affirmation. This kind of stuff means you're investing in yourself. If you like good shoes, buy shoes. If you of course in moderation, but if you like, good suits, buy them from time to time to reward yourself of a job well done. It's very important. To become wealthy quickly, invest in real estate and financial markets. Now, we have a whole show about financial markets and real estate and all the instruments and how to go about them and all the how to evaluate your own risk and reward profile, whether you are risk adverse or a risk taker. So please check out that video. We have them in our vast database of shows. You'll probably love them. So you will certainly love it. Not probably. Why did I say probably? Not probably. You will certainly love them. You will certainly appreciate the content there also. So invest in real estate and financial market. Now, one thing you want to make sure is that you want to go easy and stable, right? Go gradual. Again, this is the advice of the billionaire we spoke to. You want to go easy and stable. Go gradual. Don't try to go fast here and risk losing all the money, because volatility could kill you, right? So volatility is one thing that we spoke about in the other program I just referred to. So check it out. And so you want to diversify. Look for things like ETFs and mutual funds. Now ETF stands for exchange traded funds. Number 3, if you want to become quickly wealthy, you need to have multiple streams of income. This is important. If you can't become you cannot become a billionaire or millionaire if you are just working 9 to 5, although it is possible, but you need to have streams of income. This is very important. One stream of income is what I spoke about earlier before. By investing in real estate or in financial markets, you can get things like interest income on bonds, on corporate bonds or government bonds, the U.S. Treasury bills and U.S. Treasury bonds. You can get dividends from corporate shares. You can also get some income from real estate. There are other streams of income. For example, you can have a side hustle, right? You can have a second job. You can have a part-time job. You can create an online tutorial in your passion area, whatever you're good at, whatever you're interested in. You can create an online tutorial and just sell it, and sell the course online. There are gazillion platforms that specialize in allowing people to sell the fruit of their intellect to other people, and you don't have to even pay for it. So for instance, if you start with YouTube, for instance, you can have tutorials on YouTube, right? Where you can actually have some kind of free tutorial, and you can link that tutorial to a sales funnel whereby you are able to drag consumers or prospects into something more concrete, more comprehensive, right? So you need to have multiple streams of income, because to become millionaire, you need to be making money even when you're snoring and sleeping. Right? It is funny, but it is true. You want to become millionaire or multimillionaire or even billionaire, you need to be making money even when you are snoring and sleeping. I'm not sure it happens in that sequence, right? You first need to sleep before snoring, or you can't be snoring while being awake. This is really crazy. Sometimes I'm just having those thoughts in my brain. I can't believe it. But so you need to get that. Now, number 4, you need to get passive income. Now, passive income is what I spoke about earlier, but the twist here is that passive income is something that is hopefully that is not limited. So, for a very good one is to have, for instance, a YouTube video bank or an e-course. So if you have a YouTube video bank, for instance, the YouTube video bank has, can be monetized, and you can run ads. You can link it to other sales funnels that I spoke to earlier. Things like, affiliate marketing, things like sponsorship. Now, of course, we have an entire show dedicated on those on passive income. So I'm not going to get too much in details here, but yes, you need to get passive income. And the last thing you need to do to become wealthy quickly is to own one or several companies. Again, this sort of harks back to the idea of having multiple streams of income, right? So you need to own one or several companies. I'm not saying you need to have one or several Fortune 500 or Forbes 1000 companies, right? No. The companies can be small as long as there are 2, 3, 4. The plurality here is the source of the wealth, right? The plurality is the source of the prosperity. So the plurality is the source of your future prosperity. Try to get as many companies as you can. Not getting, own many companies as you can. We'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Do not go anywhere. I'm watching you. I'm watching you. Welcome back, folks. We are still talking about how to become wealthy. If you just joined this show, we are very happy to have you. We are talking. I'm giving folks here in this show, I'm giving folks the ultimate tutorial on how to become a millionaire, shed debts, invest properly, and take control of finances. Take control of their finances. Now, one thing you want to do here is, if you want to become wealthy, number 6, I spoke in the last section, I spoke about the first 5 things to do. Number 6, you want to cut down on expenses. Now, it's very important. Now, I'm not asking you to become a minimalist and live, with barely whatever you like live with the barely $1 a day or something like this, right? But you want to really ask yourself, you want to go down through the list of expenses you have and ask yourself, do I really, really, really need all that I currently have? This is very key, folks. Do you really need all you currently have? Is your closet full of clothes that are still packaged, that you haven't even unpackaged yet? So in other words, we have this sort of, we live in a society where we are constantly pushed to consume, right? This is a market economy. This is consumerism. This is the system we're in. We have to work around it. Now, the question is, this system, as any social construct, has pros and cons. And some of the cons of our capitalist society here is that we are pushed to buy, right? Around the holidays, you have carefully crafted, commercial campaigns such as, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. All of those things are good. I'm not saying they're bad. They are good because you can get a lot of good shopping at good prices during those holidays. But the question is the excess. The excess leads to an overconsumption and overspending. So you want to cut down on expenses that do not matter. Here I am talking about what's really important, what is important and what's not important. So look into that and make a decision. Number 7, you want to create an automatic financial plan. Now, earlier I spoke about investing in yourself and having a scheme whereby you have your savings are automatic, right? But here I want you to have an automatic financial plan. This is very important. And the billionaire we spoke to said specifically you need to have 4 accounts. 4, not 4 credit cards, 4 banking accounts. You have one that is called Live, Play, Invest, and Cover. Let me just actually the Live account. The Live account is the checking account, right? It's the account where you actually just use to pay bills and pay for bills and everything else. The second one is the Play account. This is the account that allows you to entertain yourself, go to cinema, go to the movies, take a vacation, that kind of stuff. There is an account that is called Cover. Cover account is the rainy day account. So this is the account. This is the emergency fund. And the last account is the retire. Retire and invest. Those are two. You can actually mingle them. So this account allows you to invest, to plan for retirement, to look for opportunities. And again, we are going gradual here. We are going very, very risk averse. We are going very, easy and stable, easy peasy stable, right? No wild change, no volatile no investment on volatile securities here. No. And what you want to do here is that you want to wire money in those 4 accounts, and you want to put the transfers on autopilot. So whenever you get a check, nobody gets a check anymore, right? You still get a check. You probably have direct deposit. Well, if you have a check, it's the same thing. But if you have direct deposit, what you have is you have 3 automatic transfers every month or every 2 weeks that go into the other 3 accounts. So the source account should be what? Should be the checking account, right? And then from that account, you can wire the money to your Play account, your Invest Retire account, or your cover account, your rainy day account. Something that's very interesting is that some companies even allow you to have up to 3 account where you can have your direct your pay stub, your paycheck directly deposited. So you can have you can do 80% of my income my paycheck goes into my checking account, my live account, right? And 5% goes into my retire account, and 15% of my paycheck goes into my cover account, which is my rainy day. So again, to sort of repeat that, you have your live, play, cover, or also called emergency fund. And the fourth one is invest plus retire. So it's an account where you invest and you plan for retirement. Number 8, to become wealthy quickly, you want to get 1 or 2 good mentors. You need to have 1 or 2 good mentors. Now, hopefully those are also people who are trying to help you becoming rich, right? Of course, they don't have to be wealthy. Those mentors don't have to be wealthy themselves. They just need to have the proper philosophical wealth for you, the proper intellectual vision you need to be on your path to wealth, right? It's like, think about it. If you're trying to become a top athlete, your coach doesn't have to be a top athlete himself or herself, right? You just want to have the proper guidance. You want to be under the right tutelage. You want to be under the right guidance. That's all that matters. So when you try to become a millionaire or a multimillionaire, get 1 or 2 good coaches and mentors. It could be online. You can find coaches online. You can find them in your community. I would advise you to find someone you can talk to face once in a while. So having an online coach is not really a good thing. Even doing a Skype call with a coach is not really, you could do this, but it's also good once in a while, again, once a year or once every 6 months, to meet with your coach face to face and discuss things that matter to you and see and get her or his feedback in real time, face to face. Number 8, think big. If you want to become wealthy quickly, you got to think big. You got to think crazy. Like, you have to be scared of your own thoughts. I knew this is a big one. You got to think big. If your own dreams don't scare the hell out of you, then you are not in a good position yet. Your own dreams, your own thoughts have to scare the hell out of you. You must be scared. You must be like, oh, wow, that's a big one. Can you do this? I'm scared already, but you know what? I could do it. Because if I could think of it, that means I still have inside me, in my brain, in my thoughts, the possibilities, the intellectual construct needed to get the goal achieved. So think big. Thinking big has always been the hallmark of millionaires, of billionaires, and multimillionaires, right? So this is very important. Number 10, to be wealthy quickly, you have to surround yourself with money-minded people. Now, earlier I talked about the Millionaires Club, right? This is a similar piece of advice, but the only difference is that you want to surround yourself with people who not only constantly think about money, but they also work in the money industry, in the financial industry, right? So you want to get some people who are, let's say you are in the fashion industry and your goal is to become a millionaire, right? You got to surround yourself with some Wall Street professionals. You want to get some pros around you. You got to have accountants. You got to have Wall Street bankers. Of course, I'm not saying you have to pay them. Just try to get into a situation where you hang around those people, because their minds, their intellect, their intelligence, their intel, all this kind of stuff will just make you blossom faster. All right? I will be right back right after this. Don't go away. Do not go away. I'm watching you. Welcome back, folks, to this wonderful program. We are having we're just having fun talking about money, talking about growth, talking about wealth preservation, wealth building. I hope you are enjoying this content so far. If you do, please subscribe to our channel. We drop beautiful gems of content like this every day or every other day or twice a day or 3 times a day, doesn't matter. As long as the inspiration is there and the resources are there, we will do our best. So turn on the notification bell so you can be kept in the loop whenever we drop any new show. Also, please watch all the ads that we serve during the show, because this show is a free show, but we need the resources. The production team needs the resources to conduct more investigations, cover more topics, and provide free quality show. One thing I want to tell you also is that if you feel this content is adding value to you, please consider, just like the content. Just smash the like button. Share with people who are also might be in the need, who want to be millionaires or billionaires, right? Comment below. Give us your opinion. Give us your thoughts about the subject. We always want to hear from our beautiful viewers and listeners. Thank you so much. And speaking of which, I want to give a shout out to our fans. We have millions of fans in the States and Canada and the UK and Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and Germany, and the list goes on. I want to give a shout out to David Wilkerson. He is in Edison, Nebraska. Robin Poole in Children, Nebraska, and Cassidy Howell in Shoals, Nebraska. Thank you so much, David, Robin, and Cassidy. We love you. We love your respective families. God bless you. Thank you so much. Now, how to shed debt. So, folks, I have talked about, if you've been following this program since the beginning, I've talked about how to get a millionaire mindset, how to create a millionaires club or join one, how to become wealthy quickly. Now I want to talk to you about how to shed debts, how to get rid of debts. In this program, I share with you a billionaire's rare advice on how to quickly become a millionaire, shed debt, invest properly, and take control of your finances. In preparing for this show, the production team sought to uncover the wealth-being secrets of some of America's richest families, some of whom you have never heard about and will probably never hear about. Over several months and after several attempts, we were able to meet and interview 1 billionaire, 5 multimillionaires, and 12 millionaires. All requested anonymity, but they allowed us, however, to share their money-making and wealth preservation insights, tips, and tricks with our viewers and listeners. This show is an edited and summarized version of our exchanges with this extremely wealthy yet unbelievably down-to-earth 18 Americans. What they had to say about wealth building and preservation will absolutely blow your mind. Let's follow on here. How to shed debts. Now, the first thing you want to do to stop shedding to stop debt is you need to stop using cards. Right? So stop using cards, go with cash. So get in the habit where you just leave the plastics at home, and when you go out shopping, have cash. This will automatically shift your thinking, will shift your finances on the right side, because it is more painful to actually count $300 or $400 in cash and pay at the counter than it is to pay with a card, right? When you play with plastic, you don't have this sort of natural, this sort of carnal, this sort of physiological touch and interrelationship with the money, with the paper. So there are a lot of countries where people are, for instance, if you take a country like Germany, a lot of Germans are they use cash all the time, and no wonder why the country is one of the highest places where people save money. They have the highest savings ratio. So start being in this sort of mindset where you only go with cash. Now, there are some cases where using a card is just more convenient, because the last thing you want is to be robbed or to become the target of vandalism, because people know you just walk around with thousands of dollars, right? But for smaller purchases, go with cash. Now, for other things, you can actually just, if you're trying to buy a car, you can just do a wire transfer, right? Try to leave the plastics at home. That's the point. the second point here is that use windfalls to pay down balances. What is a windfall? A windfall is a sudden source of wealth, right? You just receive money from an uncle who just died, and you happen to be on the will, that kind of stuff, or you win the lottery, or you get a bonus at work, right? You get a bonus at work. Those are windfalls, are sources of kaching, right? That are not part of your ordinary income stream, right? Or you sold a business, this kind of stuff. Use those to pay down balances. Why? Because if you take the average credit card debt, what's the APR here? The annual percentage rate. The APR is around 15% or lower. Unless you are, the bottom line is that APR with single digits are very rare unless you have a stellar credit history, a stellar credit score, and that kind of goodies. But if you are like the average American, you probably have an APR that is in double digits, right? In two digits. So it is very difficult to find an investment that will pay you 15% on a year, that will generate 15% ROI. So if you get, for instance, if you have an APR that is 15% and you get a windfall, use that to pay the balance as opposed to saving the money in your bank account, where the money is just earning probably 1% if you're lucky, or 0.5%. So you have on one side a savings account that is generating 1% in interest income, and a credit card that is costing you 15 or 20% in APR. So when you have a windfall, it's just better. It's just economically sensible for you to use that cash to pay down balances. Number 3, how to shed debt. Cut your spending. Earlier, if you remember, I was telling you to go through your expenses, right, and see what you really need, all the items that you have. This piece of advice is analogous to the earlier one. So cut your spending. Before, you were more analyzing, right? When I said cut down on expenses and asked you, do you really need all you currently have? You weren't really analyzing. You were observing. Now I'm asking you to act. I'm asking you to make a decision. Once you observe, once you decide, once you analyze, act. You want to cut your spending in the areas where you believe that things are not necessary or things are irrelevant. For instance, do you have to always eat outside? You have to eat out. You have to dine out. You can cook at home, or you can there are many ways that you can cut your spending. We have a special show on this expenditure, on your on saving money, and you're gonna love it. If you get a chance, check it out in our database. The show will talk about how to save money, how to the 50 things you can get for free, how you shouldn't spend money on anything at all, if not the bare necessities. So cut your spending is number 3. Number 4, when you pay your debts, always focus on high interest debt first, right? I talked earlier about the importance of paying the 15% APR debt versus the 1% before saving money and putting money in a 10% in an account that gives you 10%. So the same thing applies here, right? So you want to focus first on high interest debts. You want to focus on things like student loan. Now, student loans are not really high in interest, but personal loans, car loans, right? Mortgages in some cases. You want to focus on those first. Credit cards, right? Medical debts, this kind of stuff. Focus on those first before focusing on other stuff, before saving money, right? How to shed debts. Another thing is pick up a side hustle. This goes back to the advice around having multiple streams of income. This is very important. If you want to shed debt, you need to increase your income and or reduce expenses, right? So your net worth is just a function of your income and your expenses, right? So you have to pick up a side hustle if you can, and this is if you can. Again, I'm just talking to you about the mentality to become millionaire, and sometimes it means that you have to work multiple jobs, or you have to work on multiple projects, or it just means you have to own multiple sources of income, right? We'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I have much more to tell you. And also including, I have a pro tip at the end that you will love. The pro tip from this billionaire will blow you away. Follow on. I'll be right back. Welcome back, folks. We are talking about how to shed debt, and I gave you the first. In the last section, I gave you the top 5 ways to reduce debt. Now I'm continuing. I'm going to talk about number 6 here. It's number 6. Try to get a seasonal part-time job. Now, I spoke earlier about picking up a side hustle, but here I want you to have something like seasonal, not something permanent, like but something seasonal. So part-time job that can be done at home, preferably. So you are in your pajamas and you can get the work done, no problem at all. And there are so many ways to make money online. For instance, you can be home and be whatever skills you have, you just need to find work in your area and you could just be home. There are a lot of freelancing websites out there that allow you to just make some extra cash. So, check them out. Number 7, sell everything you don't need. This is very important, right? You want to declutter. So decluttering is very important, not only because it frees up your mind and it frees up your house, and also makes your bank account fat, right? This is very important. You want to sell everything you don't need. Now, if you did the analysis I told you earlier about, going through your list of expenses and see really what you need and what you don't need, you should be able to quickly identify the things you don't need. Now, certain things you can't sell, right? Whatever it is, you got to get rid of it. So you can sell it or donate it. There are a lot of charities, nationwide that will take whatever you have as long as it's legal. Yeah, I need to specify that. Now, number 8, how to shed debt. Give advice in a field you are good at, so you can earn extra cash. So give advice in a field you are good at. Now, everybody has skills. Everybody has talent, right? You just need to identify a field you're good at. It could be a field where you're currently working in, or a field where you are pursuing a private passion. You are doing things DIY, things on the side. Whatever you're good at, find that field and package things in a certain way so you can earn extra cash. It could be doing something online. It could be giving evening lessons at a local community college, or just giving a presentation or a seminar at a professional association event, right? It doesn't really matter. Whatever it is, find a field you are good at and give good advice. Another thing you can do to shed debt is to consider a balance transfer. This is an important one. A lot of Americans think that, I have a debt and, I don't have, there's nothing I can do about it. This is really what it is. It will never change. No, you can change things. So find, from time to time, the banks will send you a balance transfer offer. Study them, and at the right moment, strike. Do the balance transfer. Consolidate all your debts under one, and hopefully with a better interest rate, right? This is one thing you want to really think about, which is very important here, is that you want to transfer balances into a new account that offers lower rates, right? And number 10, drop expensive habits, right? So whatever it is, if you want to shed debt, you got to really start, take control of your expenses, right? So you want to drop those expensive habits. Now, the idea of expensive habit is a personal thing. It is subjective. So I can't tell you what is expensive, but what is expensive depends on your own budget and depends on your lifestyle, among other things, right? But basically, the economists say that it is good for a human being, for a person to save 1/3 of their income, to spend 1/3 of their income on paying bills, and the other third is used for play or schools or children, that kind of stuff. So 1/3, if you right now you are spending too much money on certain things. You want to drop those expensive habits. Also, you want to stay away from whatever tempts you, right? Whatever tempts you, whether it is going to the mall, going to online stores, going to those premium chocolate boutique, whatever it is. Stay away from those temptations. That way you can really, because if you're not tempted, if you don't see them, you wouldn't be able to even think about them, and you can actually drop those expensive habits. Right now, I have a question for the audience here. What is comment below, let me know what is an expensive habit that you are trying to get rid of, and that you or an expensive habit that you were able to get rid of. Comment below, share with the community your intellectual wealth. We want to share as much as possible of content here. And also, while you're at it, consider liking this show, subscribe to our channel, share the content below, and also watch our ads. Again, like I said, this show is ad supported. We're trying to provide good quality, and the team needs the resources to continue producing the show, cover more topics, and have access to more data. And all these things cost some cash, and we need the resources for it. So consider watching the ads that we serve during the show. And by saying this, I will be right back right after this break. Welcome back, folks, to another section of this Sweetie Kiwi show. I'm doing fantastic. I hope you are doing wonderful. I want to talk to you now about how to invest wisely, right? This is very important. Investment is another key point in becoming a millionaire. And before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to our millions of fans across the world, specifically in North America. And here I'm thinking about Brock Neal in Montello, Nevada. I'm thinking about Danny Manning in Gardnerville in Nevada, and Lena Payton in Walker Lake, Nevada. I love Walker Lake. I was there not long ago. And so Brock Neal, Danny Manning, and Lena Patton, thank you so much for your support and interest in this show. Now, in this program, for those who just joined us, I just want to quickly remind you that in this program, I share with you and all viewers a billionaire's rare advice on how to quickly become a millionaire, shed debt, invest properly, and take control of your finances. In preparing for this show, the production team sought to uncover the wealth-building secrets of some of America's richest families, some of whom you have never heard about and will probably never hear about. Over several months and after several attempts, we were able to meet and interview 1 billionaire, 5 multimillionaires, and 12 millionaires. All requested anonymity because of, the right to privacy, of course, but they allowed us to share their money-making and wealth preservation insights, tips, and tricks with our viewers, listeners, and fans. Now, this show is an edited and summarized version of our exchanges with these extremely wealthy, yet unbelievably down-to-earth 18 Americans. What they had to say about wealth building and preservation will absolutely blow your mind. Follow on. Now, so let's get into the how to invest wisely. Number 1, hire a financial advisor if necessary. You want to hire an expert. You want to hire somebody who is competent, right? You want to hire someone to help you out. Unless you already have expertise yourself in the financial industry, in everything doing with investments, you want to hire someone. So, and it doesn't have to be very expensive, no, because some financial advisors basically look around, look online, compare prices, go meet the person. And some banks, some financial institutions even have, own staff free financial advisors. In other words, those financial advisors are already part of the bank staff, the bank's personnel, so they are not going to charge you. So today, try to have an appointment with the financial advisor at your financial institution, right? Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Use the resources that are already available to you. So it is very important to hire a financial advisor because you want to have an expert around your investment strategy, right? So you can have you can even hire, just to push the advice a little further. Besides a financial advisor, try to get an accountant and an estate planner. So someone who is well versed in the intricacies of fiscal rules, of investments, of estate planning and retirement planning, right? This is very important. So financial advisors, a financial accountant, for instance, a CPA, a certified public accountant is a good expert who can follow you, who can monitor your progress and help you with finance, accounting, and tax rules and tax intricacies. You can also hire a professional called a professional that is certified by the IRS. They are usually called enrolled agents, and they know a lot about the IRS, and they can help you specifically when it comes to retirement planning, right? Because everybody is going to get old anyway. So you want to basically plan your retirement appropriately. Number 2, in the category how to invest wisely, you want to use automation to stay disciplined, right? Automation means what? Automation means that, as I said earlier about saving and having things being invested automatically, you want to apply a similar scheme here when it comes to investing. So every month you can set up a system whereby 10% or 5% of your money is leaving the checking account automatically and going into your brokerage account, right? And by doing that, you can constitute a little cash reserves there that you can just leave there. You don't have to choose it, and you just wait for the right opportunity to pop up, and you can invest, right? Or even better, if you use margin on your brokerage account. Margin, for those who are not familiar with financial terminology here, margin is just a loan that the bank or your brokerage company gives to you so you can buy more stocks. So they give you some kind of, they extend your margin so you can buy more stock even if you don't have the money for it. Now sometimes the market conditions can go against you, and you might receive something called a margin call. So by having extra cash there, you are sort of cushioning the portfolio. So if the market goes down and you have a temporary loss, what investors call unrealized loss, you don't have to close the position. Because if you have a margin call from the financial institution and you can't cover it within a certain period of time, it could be from 1 or 2 days or 3 days, depending on market condition. If you don't cover the call, your positions will be liquidated. What that means is that your position will be sold, because the financial institution, the brokerage company, is trying to cover their back. Is trying to cover its back. Is trying to manage risk. So if the market keeps going bad, going in a direction that is deleterious to your portfolio, they will close down your position, and closing down the position means liquidating. So that was just a little digression, but what I'm trying to say here is that if you automate your savings and put cash automatically into your bank account every now and then, what will happen is that you'll have enough cash not only to cover sudden market disruptions, or you can buy more stocks or more bonds or more, whatever securities you want to buy, you can use that cash to buy them. Number 3, find up to 5 fields where you can invest safely. You want to find up to 5 financial instruments where you can invest safely. Now, again, if you have a financial advisor, you can have the advisor go through those questions with you. If you are comfortable yourself with investment jargon, and you are sort of a veteran investor, so you would know exactly what I'm talking about here, right? So you want to have at least 5 fields, not at least, you want to find a maximum of 5 fields where you can invest safely. The reason why you want to have as many financial instruments as possible is that you are trying to diversify. You are trying to make sure you don't put all your eggs in the same financial basket, right? So financial instruments can, they run the whole gamut. But here I'm just, giving you a few of those instruments. You have real estate, You have stocks, bonds, ETFs, right? I said it before, exchange traded funds. You have treasury bills and treasury bonds. You have market indices. All of those things, those things are good stuff, right? That you can actually also invest in. Now, if you want to invest wisely, depending on your financial situation, depending on your age, depending on your personal situation, you might consider complex financial instruments. Of course, if they suit your style. This is very important, folks. So, the thing is that in business, as in real life, or as in investments, right, the higher the risk, the higher the outcome, right? And the outcome can be positive or negative, right? So the higher the risk, the higher the profits, but also the higher the loss. So if you are comfortable losing money, in other words, if you're a risk taker, then go with complex financial instruments. If you are risk averse, if you're not a risk taker, then stick to the 5 financial instruments, the basic one, the standard one that I just gave you earlier, the stock, bonds, ETF, treasury bills, bonds, the market indices, right? So what are financial instruments? What are the complex financial instruments? Those are options, futures, forex, cryptocurrencies, CFDs. CFDs are things called, the acronym stands for contracts for difference. So contracts for difference, this is just another financial instruments that was created by brokerage firms in the whole world, again, just to get more commissions. But it is very good because it allows the market to be diverse and allows investors, those who know what they're doing, to diversify their game plan, to diversify their portfolio. So that's pretty good. So you can consider that also. Number 5, how to invest wisely. You want to consider risk versus reward, right? That's what I talked about earlier. You want to consider risk versus reward. Think about that this is a very sweet dichotomy, right? Risk and rewards go hand in hand, even though they actually they're perfectly correlated, right? Even though, again, if you find yourself on the right side of things, you might actually, it's a lot of pain. But the idea here is that based on your situation, based on your personal situation, your age, your situation, whether you're single or married, or you have kids, or you are not, you're not a parent yet, your job, your income, those things will be taken into account when you think about risk versus rewards. And I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to the millionaire show, the Sweetie Kiwi show. This is the millionaire show, the billionaire show. Let's just call it this way. Now, number 6, I'm still trying to explain to you how to invest wisely. In number 6, take advantage of tax-powered investments. What are tax-powered investments? Those are things like retirement accounts. For instance, 401k, traditional IRA, Roth IRA, rollover IRA. We have an entire show to sort of dedicate on those retirement accounts. But the bottom line here is that if you want to invest wisely, you want to take advantage of those fiscally powered investments. The reason being that, what they usually do, they allow you to accumulate money, to accumulate wealth untaxed, and you start paying taxes on them once you take them out, once you withdraw the money. Of course, there are some penalties, but again, if you go to a financial advisor, or even if you talk to the HR department of your company, they will explain to you what needs to be done, and the appertaining consequences and penalties when you withdraw money before a certain time. Number 7, track market developments in the field you invested in. This is very important, folks. We have a show about value investing, and we have a show where we were describing, the importance of value investing and what makes, what makes luminaries like Warren Buffett, be on top of their game for a long time. I'm talking 40 years, or 50 years, and 60 years in some cases. And the secret here is that They are constantly tracking market developments in the field they invested in. So if you invest in say in technology or in fashion or in retail or in online, whatever it is, you need to track the field. You need to be informed. You need to familiarize yourself. You need to be privy to what's going on in that field, right? And there are various sources you can read. You can read or watch financial content. You have channels like CNBC, Wall Street Journal. You can read the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg News, and so on and so forth. Those are, you can go online and sort of follow magazines and newspapers that are specialized in the specific industry you're in, or the industry you want to invest in. Read books. Bottom line is, you need to increase your intellect. You need to expand your intellectual wealth on the field you are invested in. Another thing you want to do is how to invest wisely. Make sure you choose a sound brokerage. Now, all the millionaires and multimillionaires we spoke to told us this time and again. You want to choose a sound brokerage. So you can either go with a traditional one. Again, right? There are several of them. You have E-Trade, TD Ameritrade. I'm just giving names here. I mean, I'm not endorsing them or anything here, but I'm just giving. You can find them online if you just do a Google search or Bing search. So you have Fidelity Investments, Franklin Templeton, TD Ameritrade or E-Trade. Those are the traditional, the standard brokerages, right? Or you can have new players like Robinhood. Those new players they are very good. They have a sound business model, so you can give them a chance. Number 9, our billionaire advisor told us to never put all eggs in the same basket. If you want to invest wisely, you never put your eggs in the same basket. Now, this talks about diversification, right? But diversification is not just diversification. Can take many dimensions here, right? So there are several tiers of diversification. Diversification can be geographical. So in other words, you can buy stocks or invest in the United States. You can invest in the Northwest, in the West Coast, in the East Coast. You can invest in Canada. You can invest in other countries overseas, in the UK, in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, in Latin America, the whole 9 yards. You can invest whatever you believe you can get the best investments, right? That's geographical diversification. You can also diversify in terms of the instrument, the securities you are buying, right? So whether you're having a good mix of stocks, bonds, ETFs, market indices, or you can have a little mix of the complex, the exotic financial instruments, the options, the futures, the cryptocurrencies, the forex, the CFDs of the world, whatever it is. You can also diversify in terms of sectors. So you can buy instruments in tech, in finance, in the financial services industry, in fashion, in retail, in food, in healthcare, the whole 9 yards. So think about diversification from multiple standpoints here. Number 10, check your investments twice a year and get new assets. So that's what specialists call, rebalance your portfolio. So you want to check your investment twice a year. Don't sit around your computer and look at your income, your assets go up and down, like checking the New York Stock Exchange, and every day when the market closes, and see whether or not you made money or lost money. It's just, unless you're a trader, you are an active trader, you are a day trader, you have no business looking at your computer or looking at an app and checking your portfolio every single day. This is bad for your health. It's bad for you'll probably get a heart attack sooner than your portfolio will actually be double in value. But the bottom line here is that you want to check your investment. Probably you want to do it the last weekend of June and the last weekend of December, around the holidays. So you just take the time You can take a Sunday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon, take 2 hours or 1 hour. This is easy peasy, folks, right? If you do this, you just have a date with yourself or your spouse, because it's always good to also do this collectively, jointly. If you and your spouse want to be a billionaires, once you have this sort of commonality of vision, you can just have a date, put it in your agenda, right, on your phone. So the last weekend of June and the last weekend of December, it could be a Sunday or Saturday, it doesn't matter. 2 hours, talk about finances, talk about investments, right? So you check your investment, you see what's working, what's not working, and you get new assets. And whatever it is, make sure if you do the planning correctly, don't sell asset on the panic. No, because there are some tax consequences that are very bad. You will be paying taxes on realized capital gains, and this could throw off your retirement strategy. So keep asset. Don't sell on the penny. If the market is going down, it's okay. As long as you have a good company, you invest in, you should be fine. All right. I'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still talking about money, how to become a billionaire, how to make money, how to save money, how to build wealth, how to preserve wealth. And I'm just doing fantastic. I'm very happy to have you around us today. And I want to say that before we even go into anything else, I just want to give a shout out to our fans, beautiful fans throughout the world. And we want to thank specifically Lucas Randall. He is in Sanbornville, that's in New Hampshire. Brooke Chapman in Blodgett Landing, that's in New Hampshire. And Brianna Brock, she is in Milford, New Hampshire. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your help, your tips, your encouragement. This is fantastic. Again, when I'm talking about tips here, I'm not talking about monetary, anything monetary. We are talking about feedback on the sort of topic that we cover. And for those who are just joining us, please consider subscribing if you like the show. If you can share also if you think it's very great. Like the content itself, comment below, give us your insight, your everything. Give us your everything. Give us your everything. The idea here is just to interact with the Sweaty Kiwi community so we can share ideas and insights. Now, if you just joined this program, let me quickly give you what we're trying to do here. Let me give you some this is a tutorial. This is a money-making tutorial. And specifically in this program, I share with you a billionaire's rare advice on how to quickly become a millionaire, shed debts, invest properly, and take control of your finances. In preparing for this show, the production team sought to uncover the wealth building secrets of some of America's richest families, some of whom you have never heard about and will probably never hear about. Over several months and after several attempts, we were able to meet interview 1 billionaire, 5 multimillionaires, and 12 millionaires. All requested anonymity. All requested to be anonymous, but they allowed us to share their money-making and wealth preservation insights, tips, and tricks with our viewers and listeners. This show is an edited and summarized version of our exchanges with these extremely wealthy, yet unbelievably down-to-earth 18 Americans. What they had to say about wealth building and preservation will absolutely blow your mind. Follow on here. So now let's talk about how to take control of your finances. Right? This is very important. Just to give you the kind of journey we've had so far in this show. First, I showed you how to get a millionaire's mindset. Next, I showed you how to create a millionaires club or join one. And I also showed you how to be wealthy quickly. Next, we talked about how to shed debt. We also talked about how to invest wisely. And now, finally, we are talking about how to take control of your finances. Now, number one, you want to set smart goals. If you want to take control of your finances, if you want to take control of your finances, you want to set SMART goals. Of course, I already explained what SMART goal is. So, you want to set a goal that is linked to you taking control of your finances, and you want to make it, again, SMART, which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound, right? Timely. This is very important because this will, and you want to write it down. You want to write down the goals. Number 2, you want to calculate your net worth. Now, net worth is, very simply, net worth equals at total assets minus total liability. So total asset is everything you own, right? And total liability is your total debt, so everything you owe. So basically, very simply, for example, if you have property, if you have a car that you've paid, that you have no more loan on, if you have property, a car, some equipment, some cash in the bank, and all these things total, I'm just giving a very simple example here, all these things total 100,000, and on the other side you have credit card debt, you have student loans, you have a mortgage, and all of this debts total, say, 50,000, right, or 75,000. Your net worth is 25,000, right? So 100K minus 75K, so you have 25K. So your net worth is 25K. So calculate your net worth, because this should give you an idea of where you're going. This should tell you whether or not you are a millionaire, or you are very close to becoming a millionaire, or if this is just or whether or not you're just a long shot. So it's very important to calculate your net worth and automate this. So every month, or every 3 months, or every 6 months if you want to, you can calculate your net worth as you are reviewing your investment strategies. Number 3, how to take control of your finances. Invest smartly. So we just talked about the different investment options. You want to go easy. Don't invest in anything volatile. When it comes to investments, the 2 things that are very important are volatility and liquidity, right? So what is liquidity? Liquidity just means that how easy it is to buy or sell financial instruments, right? So go with securities that are highly liquid. So if you're trying to sell, and if you need cash and you want to sell the security, you can find a willing buyer quickly, right? So that's the first part, liquidity. The second thing is volatility. Volatility just means how fast a security goes up and down, and by how much they go up and down. So obviously you don't want to have a highly volatile product unless it is from a company that is solid, right? I mean, I wouldn't mind, for instance, having a volatility in a Facebook stock, for example, or in a Google stock, for example, or in an IBM stock, for example, right? Because those are big companies, right? Those are companies that will be around. Now, if you have volatility in a small company that might file for bankruptcy, this is a very bad investment. This is not a recommendable investment, and I wouldn't want you to be in that space. Number 4, to take control of your finances, get the necessary insurance, right? Insurance, a lot of folks think of it as extra money, extra expense, but insurance is actually it is a risk management tool. And the billionaire we've spoken to, as well as the 17 millionaires, have all said that insurance is critical. You need to have insurance. It's like those who investors have something called portfolio hedging. You have to hedge your portfolio. You have to hedge the risk. It's the same thing in life. If you want to invest, or you want to take control of your finances, you need to get the necessary insurance. Now, I'm talking about health insurance. I'm talking about life insurance. I'm talking about any kind of insurance that will allow you to be protected if something were to happen, right? Because life stuff happens, right? You cannot plan for everything. So you need to have insurance so that if something happens, you are covered. Number 5, you want to visualize worst case scenarios and devise appropriate mitigants. Now, this is very important also. This is basically you want to, what is the worst case scenario? This is, for example, if you become unemployed, you get fired from work, whatever, you get downsized, whatever the word is, you've lost your job, right? You're home, the savings savings account are getting thinner and thinner. You can't continue that way. So you have, this is the worst case scenario. Or you get sick and you have to be out of work for 12 months. This kind of scenarios, right? God forbid it happens. You have to visualize them and devise appropriate risk mitigants. You have to devise appropriate, strategies to counter them where they, if they were to happen. This is very important. And I'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, folks, to Sweaty Kiwi. I hope you are doing fantastic. Welcome to the world's largest infotainment show. So we are talking about how to take control of your finances, right? So I mentioned that I gave you the first five goals before. Now I want to talk about, you need to start budgeting. That's number 6. Number 6, start a budget. Is very important. If you don't have one now, you want to have a budget. Again, a budget can be something very simple. You can have it in an Excel spreadsheet. There are a lot of templates out there, or you can just use an app, right? You can use an app on your cell phone. But you want a budget. You want to track your expenses. You want to track your income, and especially if you are in a relationship, it is very important to have a couple budget, right? So you can track things across the board and make decisions. That will help you a lot take control of your finances, because it will help you identify where you are spending a lot of money and where you can cut. And this is something very important. One thing you want to do also is clarify your cash flows. So by cash flow, I'm talking about liquidity movements, right? So in and out. So whatever when it comes to cash flows, there are several types of cash flows. Now, accountants like to classify them into 3. They like to categorize them into three clusters. So they have something called operational cash flows, investing cash flows, and financing cash flows. So operational cash flows in the context of an individual will be anything like money they spend on groceries, on utility bills, so on and so forth, right? Food, that kind of stuff. Financing cash flows refer to things like loans. If you get money from, your credit card debts, your student loans, your mortgage, those will be actually inflows, and then when you repay them, they'll be outflows, right? When you repay the loan, they are outflows. And the third part here is investing outflows. So investing outflows is, for instance, when you buy stock, bonds, or when you invest in any sort of scheme, you are taking money out of your account. So this is an investment outflow. And if you receive, for instance, interest income on a corporate bond you bought, that becomes an investing inflow. Or if you receive a dividends, right? So those are things that you need to be aware of when you apply them to your personal situation. So you want to clarify your cash flow situation. Again, like I said, both inflows, money coming in, and outflows, money going out. One thing you want to do also, if you want to take control of your finances, you want to read 3 books. Read 3 books about personal finances, so you have a different perspective, right? Don't read only one. I hear a lot of people only focusing on one book, the so-called bestseller in the industry. Listen, I have nothing against bestsellers. They are doing a good job. God bless them. It's wonderful. But if you read only one bestseller, you're getting only one perspective. And when it comes to personal finances, as everything in life, you want to get as many perspectives as possible here, right? You don't want to stick to only one source here. So, I mean, the validity of the opinion in one book could be countered or shattered by the validity of the opinion expressed in another book, right? So the goal here is to make an intelligent, informed decision. And the way you can do this is by talking to as many people as possible, or by grabbing intellectual capital from as many authors as possible, from as many luminaries as possible, right? So this is what you have to do here. So read 3 books. Another way to take control of your finances is to go on a spending fast, right? Now we hear a lot about people fasting in the nutritional, from a nutritional point of view. They don't eat, they don't drink, whatever they do, they just stop doing whatever. You can apply the same thing here when it comes to spending. Go on a spending fast. So you tell yourself, one day in the year, one day in the week, or one day in the year, or in the quarter, or in the month, I'm not going to spend any money. So on that day, you are on a spending fast. It's incredibly efficient. Now, I'm giving you tips and tricks that we have heard from 1 billionaire, 5 multimillionaires, and 12 millionaires. Now, those folks already have money. They have money already. They can afford everything they want. Yet, they are going once in a while on a spending fast. So it's not really about it's more about the mental clarity and the mental discipline than it is about saving money, right? If you want to take control, the key word here is control. You want to take control of your finances, you need to take control of your mind first. You need to acquire mental discipline first. You need to become, some kind of you need to be psychologically sturdy. Let's just put it this way. You need to be strong psychologically so that you can resist all the temptations. You can plan more properly. This kind of stuff, right? This kind of stuff. The last thing you need to do here, number 10, if you want to take control of your finances, is to have a financial plan, and you want to measure exactly how much you need to attain financial freedom. Right? Because it's all about planning, right? It's all about having a plan. It's all about mapping a scenario. It's all about having a plan A, plan B, plan C, all the way to plan Z if you have time. Right? So have a financial plan and measure exactly how much you need to attain financial freedom. If you remember earlier, I was talking to you about hiring a financial advisor. So if you're not financially inclined, if you don't have the right strategy, if you just need help, if you need guidance, please put yourself and your financial plan under the tutelage of a financial advisor, or someone who is versed in the intricacies, in the subtleties of investments. Don't try to do things yourself. Don't try to reinvent the wheel, right? People have done it already. Folks have done it already. So just follow those who have done it already, just follow what they have done. All right? I will be right back right after this. Welcome back, folks, to this episode of the Sweetie Kiwi Show, the world's longest and brightest and biggest entertainment and infotainment show. Actually, it's infotainment, not entertainment. So it's information and entertainment. Now, today we are talking about something serious. So we are talking about something very informative, right? So we want this show to be informative. Now, before I even get into the nitty-gritty of this last section, I want to give a shout out to Kyler Savage in Pomona, New Jersey. We like you. We love you, Kyler, and your family. Val Britt in Avon by the Sea, that's New Jersey. And Juliana Hooper in Columbia, New Jersey. Beautiful state of New Jersey, Garden State. We love you, New Jersey fans and listeners and viewers. Now, I just want to say that, in this tutorial, this very easy peasy tutorial, I have shown you how to get a millionaire mindset, how to create a millionaires club or join one, how to be wealthy quickly, how to shed debts, how to invest wisely, and lastly, I've shown you how to take control of your finances. Now, let's now talk about the call to action. I have a specific call to action for you. for those who follow our shows, you know that in every show, we like to give our viewers and listeners and fans something concrete to do, because getting an info is pretty good. Getting information is good, but you have to act on it. You have to do something, right? Because information is power. At least so goes the saying. But in my view, information is power, but action is omnipotence. Action is all powerfulness. Action makes the world go around. Action is what really drives people. Action is why you are where you are currently today, right? So today, my call to action for you is set goals. Set goals. Wealthy people don't simply expect to make more money. They plan and they work hard towards their financial goals. Actively save and invest. Contact a brokerage company today. Start investing today. Hire a financial professional. Have someone professional review your financial situation. Protect your credit score. Value having multiple sources of income. And most importantly, never spend beyond your means. All the multimillionaire we spoke to and the billionaire mentioned that you should never spend beyond your means. This is very important. And occasionally, always try to review your own financial situation. Do this every 6 months, every year, whatever it is. Do this. You can even acquire specific software that would allow you to track this thing even more easily. Whatever it is, create some kind of routine in your life to make the right financial decision. Now, this is pretty much it. Thank you for watching our show, and I will see you next time. Oh, I have the pro tip that you were waiting for, and here is today's pro tip. Don't go away. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Now, one pro tip we have received from our billionaire is keep busy and maintain stable employment even if you don't really need the money. Because most billionaires still keep busy. They still are engaged in some kind of activity, and they maintain stable employment even if they don't really need the money. Those billionaires tend to do so to become intellectually, mentally, and physically fit and alert. Also, those billionaires continually surround themselves with experts who challenge them and from whom they can learn. Thank you. I will see you next time. Stay marvelous.